So before I fly, I just verify all my sticks and switches are in the correct orientation. Make sure all my trims are zeroed out on the Futaba display. I have to bring the throttle to 50% so that if I need to take over control of the craft has power. The craft is parked right over there, and it's a nice calm day here, about 0 degrees Celsius. And so I bring the throttle to 50%. So now that's set, and I'm all ready to go, and I just press go. And the craft will fire up. And it should head off, right over top of me. So it's reached its cruising altitude of 40 meters, and it's heading off on its flight. Okay, so it had estimated 6 minutes. It's now been 2 minutes 45 seconds, and the craft has now finished its route and is heading back to repeat itself and do a loop and redo the flight again. There's our little view from the screen as we're banking around. This is a fixed camera. There's no stabilization in this. This is the view from the craft itself from the onboard fixed frame camera, which is the pilot view camera, not the gimbal. So when you're looking down, on your gimbal, you can still have this forward-facing view to make sure your flight plan and your flight lines are all safe. You can see it progressing here on the iPad. It's about to reach a waypoint and come around waypoint 3. And there's our ongoing time up there, 3 minutes 10 seconds that we've been flying, and we're going to go around and do this twice. Below here we can see our altitude. Vertical speed basically is 0 because we're staying at the same altitude. And our voltage is up the top here, 22.6 volts. I like to be in the ground at around no less than 21 volts as a safety number. And there's the craft making the turn, which is coming around that corner there and heading on down. We've got 4 minutes on the Futaba, and I can press this button and also monitor its voltage down here for the flight batteries. So you've got lots of feedback as far as voltage is concerned. We have it up here on the screen. We have it on the LCD screen, top corner over here. It's everywhere. So that's a good safety feature. Well, we've gone around a few times, and we're now doing our 3rd or 4th pass. I can't exactly remember. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask it to come back and land. It's a brand new set of batteries, never been flown before, so I don't want to discharge them completely. I want to just give them a light go. So we're at 21.6, 21.7 volts. So it's a nice easy flight for the craft. So when the craft flies and does its flight, you can tell it how you want to return to home. And in this case, I'm going to have it come back with the craft nose pointing away. So it will kind of return backwards to us. But as you can see right now, the craft has already turned around and is coming home. Well, I could hit it now if I want, and what will happen is the craft will just turn around and do a little pivot and return, or I can do it when it's heading away. It doesn't really matter. I always find it's nice and graceful if it's already heading away when you hit the return to home. So the return to home is quite a simple function. We just press H up here, which brings up this screen, which kind of primes it to want to come back, to come home. So there's the craft up there. I lose my focus when I go up to the sky, but I'm just going to press go now to return to home.
Go home.
And our little girl tells us we're going home on the unit. And the craft's up there coming back home. And it's going to come back in with its tail towards the home location, as you can see here how it's coming back. And the craft's eventually going to sit there for a second at that same altitude and then start to descend. So we're landing now, and we got a little progress bar on the side here, and it shows our altitude. And here's the craft coming in to land. And that's about a foot from where it took off.